Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to the Remote Workforce Summit organized by Coolidge Times. We hope you've been having a good time. I would now like to hand over the screen to Dr. Sanjeev Dikshit, the General Manager, Human Resources, RUMEA and Europe of the Himalaya Drug Company. Dr. Sanjeev comes with an experience of more than 23 years in strategic corporate HR and has been awarded as a Global 100 Top 100 HR Minds by the World HRD Congress in 2018. Over to you, Dr. Sanjeev.
Thank you, Natsu, for your wonderful introduction. Let me share my presentation. Hope it is visible now.
Yes, it is visible, Dr. Sanjeev.
Great. So thank you so much, all the participants and people around the world who have connected to this Remote Workforce Summit. I am Dr. Sanjeev. I head HR for the Indian multinational herbal major Himalaya, based out of Dubai. In the current scenario, when we are in a very unprecedented and uncertain times, I think beside the entire challenge of managing the top line and the bottom line, which is the focus for all of us working in the organization or in the business, there is a one very important subject which is, I think, getting missed out, which is how to ensure the sustainability of top line and bottom line through middle line. I think this is a new term which I have coined in my recently much acclaimed book titled Plan C, where the C stands for culture. So I would be talking about that, and in the end of the presentation, I will be taking a few questions from all the listeners and participants. So this is my subject, middle line management approach for sustainable top and bottom line. I think my introduction has already been given. I got a 23 years of experience across various global multinationals, PepsiCo, Philips. Let me ask a question in the beginning of this presentation to set the context. And I think people can put their comments yes or no on the chat box. I understand we are remotely connected, so I cannot see who are raising their hands. So how many of you know what is top line and what constitute a top line? Yeah, you can put your points in the chat box. And how many of you know what is bottom line and what come under a bottom line? And I can see there's a very obvious responses which are coming in your mind as well as in the chat box, which is top line is primarily the business revenue and bottom line is your profitability. So what you're asking in today's discussion, I'm basically trying to contextualize this entire subject of what is middle line and do we know what is middle line? Because this is not the term which is either being discussed during our strategy meeting or the review meetings. Primarily, it is been never even understood. So what is middle line? I'm not talking about middle management. I'm talking about middle line, which basically ensure the linkage between the top line, which is your revenue market share, and the bottom line, which is your profitability or your value creation. Let me reveal this particular term because this is a lot of research and discussion across so many organizations and including our current organization. This is very, very relevant.
Dr. Sanjeev, we have some answers of the questions that you asked.
Yes.
Middle line equal to gross profit?
No, sorry. I think that is a misnomer. And this is a kind of, again, a very obsessed about the results and the tangible, quantifiable targets. Middle line is primarily the human skills. The middle line is nothing but the culture. And a lot of my friends who are sitting and listening to my presentation would appreciate that culture has never been a significant part of the leadership agenda. It is not part of any reviews. It is not part of any audits. Primarily, we are driven by either the plan A, which is action oriented, or plan B, which is backup oriented. We never, ever, ever discuss about the plan C, which is how to leverage and build our culture, which ensure a sustainable value creation. And if I have to further break it down, the culture or the middle line into the specifics, then it primarily resonates with what is the management belief, what is the purpose for which the organization or the startup or the enterprise or the country is been created, and then how the leadership is role modeling those values oriented behavior. Does those organizations have predefined values, not on the play card, but in real practice? And I think this role modeling of behaviors ensures there is a high level of engagement of people down below because they see walk the talk. They become more productive because they connect with the organization where the values are being cherished and role model. And this further impacts the overall productivity and efficiency and effectiveness of the overall team. And I've seen in organization where there is a linkage between the role modeling of values oriented behavior by the leadership, the entire what you call the culture is absolutely emphasized. The performance has been very consistently growing, and this middle line connect the top line, which is your revenue growth, market share, is the bottom line, which is profitability growth. So I think the missing link, which we always miss, is the middle line focus. And I think this is what my reiteration in today's context, when we are in a pandemic, when we are in a very uncertain and unprecedented lockdown scenario, that how we can go back to our drawing board and start reflecting upon what are the kind of behaviors which will ensure our sustainable growth, what we need to role model as a leadership or a senior management in terms of ensuring that all our team member also behave in the same manner, and that is how we create a high performance culture, so to say. Why this middle line is important, why the culture is important. In my book, Plan C, I specifically emphasize that culture eats strategy across all three meals. And who serves this meal? CEO. Because the culture is defined as primarily the behavior demonstrated by the most influential people in any entity, whether it is a small entity, whether it is a big entity with a large organization, or even for a nation for that matter. The behavior demonstrated by the leadership makes the culture. It doesn't take many years to transform. It takes even a single day, basis how the leadership wants the organization to behave. I'm just highlighting, basis my research again, what are the key biggest people problems in the business today, and even in past and in future. Primarily the attrition, engagement, the burnout syndrome in the entire toxic work environment, non-alignment of strategy, a huge crisis situation regarding poor survival rate of the organization. And today, if you see the age of an organization is reducing from earlier, say, 60 years, 50 years to even 3 years, 2 years. So that is also one of the key reasons why there is an erosion of the middle line management happening. I think I have already defined what culture is, which is the major pillar of the middle line, is a behavior role model by the most influential members in an organization or even a small entity. If I have to take an example of a family, father sets the culture. In an organization, CEO sets the culture. In a nation, the president or the prime minister sets the culture, or the leader of the nation. And again, this is the survey data, and I'm not talking from the what you call in the thin air. We have seen that if we do a culture leadership survey, we have seen that organization where there is a high emphasis on these middle line management, or I will say the focus on evolving the culture, the organization has consistently demonstrated encouragement of high performance behavior, and the performance of the organization has keep improving on a year basis. And even my PhD thesis basically proves that. There is a very interesting what you call article, or I will say the entire issue which has come in 2009 in Harvard Business Review, where they're saying that the technology is not an issue in an organization today with all these artificial intelligence, big data, virtual platforms. The issue is culture. That is where the organization is getting challenged. And I think today in the COVID scenario, organization which has got a very robust, strong middle line or the culture have survived the entire what you call period in a much more effective manner, including my organization, if I have to talk about. The reason is everybody is very clear what is the purpose, what are the behaviors which will help us to achieve the high performance, and that is how we are kind of sailing through. Organization which doesn't have this high focus on the middle line management or the culture, they are absolutely getting challenged in terms of their strategy is not in line with what this pandemic has posed the challenges. And this is the linkage. So I'm primarily kind of envisaging a new trend which is going to come, wherein there will be a new CEO mindset. And when I say new CEO, here is CEO stand for the culture of excellence in the organization. And if you see the linkage between middle line management vis-a-vis the success of the organization, the middle line management drives a value-based organization. There is a much more appreciation of human skills. There is much more appreciation of what are the behaviors which creates performance. There are consequences which the organization creates for encouraging such behaviors in terms of right reward and recognition, right kind of incentives. And then these behavior then give you all the KPIs and KRS on a consistent basis. And there is a very interesting linkage which I established through the Einstein, what you call theory of relativity, and I am call it theory of relativity of success, where E is equal to MC square. E is excellence in the organization, M is your management mindset, and C is your culture. So if the culture improves or the middle line improves at a fast pace, then excellence becomes synonymous with management mindset. So there's a significant linkage between if we want to desire excellence on a sustainable basis in the organization vis-a-vis how we are evolving our culture. And there are various tools in terms of doing a benchmarking of your culture, doing an audit where we are today and where we want to go from a blame culture to a very, very leadership, high performance culture. This is the what you call linkage I've established through my PhD thesis, that the role modeling of values, employee engagement outcomes has a direct linkage with the business performance. That was my thesis for which I got a PhD. And I've statistically proven through mathematical model that more you role model the values oriented behavior, and especially I'm talking about the leadership, the employee engagement improves significantly, and it moves from engagement to commitment. And then if that happens, obviously all your business performance indicators significantly start improving. And we all can try this. And even if you are seeing a good performance, you can reflect the linkage between these role modeling of culture and the employee engagement with the business performance. And you will find a very, very strong linkage between these variables in the organization. And if I have to again establish a linkage between the input, process, and output, if you want to have a growth as an output, your inputs and process has to be very, very strong. And I think we miss this in when we are making our annual plan and annual strategy or business growth strategy. And that is the reason why the mindset shift which is needed today is from strategy focused culture to culture focused strategy. I think that's the key. And there are all the tools. Only thing is the intent and the entire, as I said, priority set by the organization leaders and the senior members. And this is what, in terms of behaviors, which is being needed from all the senior management people who are sitting there. We have to move from the left-hand side mindset of convention, rhetoric, critique, hunter, impersonal action to curiosity. So convention has to move to curiosity. Rhetoric should move to continuous improvement. Enabler should become catalyst now. Critique should become coach, and hunter should become cultivator. Impersonal should become connector. Action should become culture builder. I think these are the shift which is needed in each one of us in terms of the behavior. If we want to make our middle line very, very robust and healthy in the current trying time, and also to de-risk our organization from any such pandemic in future. These are some of the de-risk strategy, which is quite in detail, but I will focus on these 6 C's, which is how you can de-risk your business through the middle line approach. One is building your competence on middle line. Your compass is your purpose of organization. The cost of your talent in terms of how you're trying to make them adaptable to this mindset. The courage of CEO to take hard calls. If people who are high performer are and they are not in line with your what you call high performance behavior, then they need to be asked to go because they are not contributing to the middle line. They might be contributing to the top line or the bottom line. So these hard calls have to be taken by the CEO and shows that kind of courage. Challenging the legacy, and the legacy has been for many, many years, for centuries, is okay, let's have your targets on top line and bottom line. There is no target for middle line. Can we have a KPIs and KRAs around middle line? What is the culture audit score we can improve? What is the kind of culture movement we can have from a basic level of blame culture to the highest level of your disruptive culture? And the communication issue. I think there is a significant communication, what you call deficit, which is absolutely exposed during this entire work from home scenario, where people have a lot of unclarity, a lot of anxiety, a lot of chaos, and especially those organizations where there is no clarity on all these specific behaviors. This is the hierarchy model of high performance culture, which I'm recommending in my book Plan C, but also for the reference of all the participants today. I think the most basic level of culture, uh, again reflecting the leadership and the kind of focus the management has, is very transactional culture, where we are only doing very transactional activities. Okay, this is the task, this is the objective, let's do it, without having any linkage of what kind of ecosystem we are creating. Then it moves to engaging culture. If there is high focus on at least on the engagement of people in terms of communication, that further evolve into the innovative culture. And then comes your agile culture, which is what most of the organization is trying to achieve today. Disruptive culture, I don't think any of the organization has reached there except few. I think if I have to talk about to certain extent, because I have not done the audit there, but yes, Amazon to certain extent, Tesla to certain extent would be, can we figure it out in the disruptive culture. And futuristic culture is a culture where everything is very, very organic. There is no need of any discussion around the middle line management behavior. It becomes such integral part of the way of working that what you call, there is no need of focusing on that. So that is the highest level of culture we can look at. And this is the framework, if I have to just sum up, how to start moving from the top line, bottom line approach to the middle line by having a Plan C approach with culture vision, culture design, culture action, culture reviews, and culture improvement. So this is a 5-point approach, almost like a PDCA, plan, do, check, and act. And then you can definitely achieve in a very, very systematic manner this. And this is how you can reinvent your human capital management. And finally, the last slide, basically what we should be stopped immediately in terms of action, start immediately and continue doing consistently. So we have to stop the delegation of this middle line to the junior people. I think the ownership lies at the top leadership. Business review with middle line growth KPIs should be included. And the CEO should become the the entire, as I said, chief excellence officer of the organization. Any Q&A here? I think I try to stick to the timeline. Mitsu?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. I have two questions, though we'll be able to take only one.
Sure.
I'll tell you both the questions. You can decide which one you want to take. Is
Sure.
diversity in workforce part of this culture? That is the first question. The second is, can you elaborate the framework that reflects top line, middle line, bottom line in terms of KPIs?
Okay, so I will take the second question. But if you can pass on my email ID, everyone can send their queries and I can write them the responses. So the framework of top line and top line KPIs are very clear. I think that's a convention that top line has a KPIs of achieving higher business revenue year on year. We have to achieve higher, what you call market share, your per capita, what you call sales growth. So those are the KPIs for top line. Bottom line again is very, very standard, which is again profitability per employee. What is the kind of PAT or profitability after tax, profitability before tax, or NOBIT what we call, or EBITDA what we call. So those are the KPIs pertaining to the top line and bottom line, which is already being practiced in most of the organization. What is missing is the KPIs around the middle line. What are the middle line KPIs? The middle line KPIs is what is the culture audit score of my organization today? What is the culture audit score I want to reach? So on a scale of 100, if I am currently at 50, how I can move from culture audit score of 50 to say 70? And that will definitely have an impact on your top line and bottom line. Then comes your, in terms of the type of culture you are in. So if you are currently at a very, very basic level transactional culture, how you can move to a say agile culture or a disruptive culture in the given time frame. In terms of the competence of your team members, what is the kind of competence or the behavior they are demonstrating today vis-a-vis what you desire to achieve? What is the engagement on the culture specific areas in terms of the scores and how we want to improve on those scores? In terms of role modeling of the values oriented behavior by the leadership, how the employees are perceiving in terms of the, again, tangible audit score and how it is improving. I think once we have this, I will say tools and I will say KPIs around the middle line, there would be a significant shift the way the organization are achieving the top line and the bottom line. And there is no need to have a separate kind of reviews for top line and bottom line. You review middle line, your top line and bottom line is automatically improving because there is a significant linkage between both. I hope I answered. Thank you,
Dr. Sanjeev. In fact, we have a coffee break, so we can take one more question because we don't have a session that's going on next.
Excellent.
Do you want to answer, is diversity in workforce part of this culture?
A diversity of workforce is a very, very, I will say, primary level or a very superficial level of this particular culture. Diversity is only bringing you people from different walks of life, different gender, different nationality, different orientation. That is the first step. I will call it a transaction. But now, after creating that diversity of talent or the workforce, how you are aligning them towards the common, what you call denominator of the culture-oriented behavior. Do you have those aligned purpose for the organization, so that all these diversified workforce are kind of behaving in a same manner to achieve the kind of performance or the kind of growth they want to achieve, or they fulfill their purpose for being in that organization. So transactional activity is having a diversity, but aligning them towards the middle line of the organization is the huge ask.
All right. One last quick question. Would you be able to explain the 6 C's, please?
Sure. So 6 C are the, I will say the term starting from C, but they are the approaches by which you can de-risk your organization from any kind of pandemic or your top line going haywire or your bottom line going haywire. These 6C help you to move from wherever you are today to the high focus on your middle line, which is the culture. So if I have to talk about 6C once again, I'll just put up that slide. Uh, this is basically, first is your competence. So in order to achieve a particular culture, do we have the right capabilities from leadership to the entire organization? So how we can build those competence? So if we build those competence around the culture and not around how we are achieving, say, revenue growth, I'm again emphasizing on the cultural capabilities. So that's the first C. Second C is compass. Compass is primarily your purpose. So what is the kind of culture you want to create? Do you want to remain at a very blame culture level or a very transactional level culture, or you want to move towards the higher level of culture, which is very agile, very innovative, very high performance, and disruptive, futuristic. So that is what the compass C basically talk about. Then comes the cost. I think that's a very important C, because while there could be a lot of aspiration to transform the culture and achieve a very high performance culture, but do you want to invest a significant amount of your resource, money, energy, time, and for that you need that kind of a conviction. Because otherwise, just by saying, okay, oh, I'm allocating a budget of say $100,000 and I think the culture will change, that doesn't change. Because you have to drive the entire culture change in the same manner you drive the business growth. And I think that's where the cost C comes in. Then comes the fourth C, which is courage of CEO. And I was referring in my previous discussion also that most of the time what is happening in the organization is we are rewarding, recognizing high performers and high achievers and high potential guys without looking how these guys are impacting the middle line, which is in terms of uh, the right behaviors and the emphasis on the values. And if they are not, I think the courage of the CEO should be in terms of taking hard calls of removing these or correcting these what you call high performers, because what we need is the role model achievers in terms of the values and the culture of the organization, and they should be cherished in the organization, and the consequence has to be created in terms of non-negotiable approach towards such people. The fifth is challenge the legacy. I think that's what I've been talking about since in the first slide, that how we are challenging all the legacy which we have been part of, because it's a huge hangover. We cannot immediately come out of this. And when I say challenging a legacy, the entire shift from only talking about action, strategy, performance, growth, from there we shift to, okay, where we are on our what you call the ecosystem which we have created. Is the ecosystem right for our organization to grow and survive and succeed in future or in present? What are the right pillars of a kind of culture we want to create? What is the larger purpose for which we are existing? I think these are some of the very hard questions which needs to be asked by the senior leadership or the management or the, as I said, the senior people in the any setup to shift this entire old legacy, and it's a very hard task. And finally, the communication deficit. As I was mentioning, in the current scenario, because of the work from home and remote working, there is a huge communication gap which is happening, and the entire organization is getting exposed in the manner CEO is saying something, the people are understanding something, because that has been the way of working earlier before we get into the lockdown. So we are getting now, we are basically reaping all the what you call wrong seeds which we have sown in the last whatever number of years of our working. So I think that communication has to now change, and the each communication which comes from the senior management should be in line with the kind of culture which they want to kind of create in the organization. So that should become the conversation. That should become their talking point across the organization. And people should understand that these are non-negotiable elements. So middle line is the focus, top line and bottom line will get achieved through middle line and not vice versa. These are the 6 C's.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanjeev. And there are some more questions that we have for you. So you can, you're already in the system.
Yes.
They are in your Q&As, and you can just answer them by the same chat, by answering them through
Okay.
in the system. So they will get the answers. And thank you for this very interactive, very informative session. We are now heading towards a small networking break. I hope all the attendees can mingle with the attendees and sponsors in the lounge. But before we take a break, I would like to thank our sponsors, Automation Anywhere, Nutanix, Blue Prism, Oracle, TeamViewer, Poly, FirstPoint, Tata Communication Software, AG, and Mindware RSA, once again for making this summit possible. See you at 12:10 Dubai time to hear from Mr. Sandeep Sachdev from Tata Communications. And Dr. Sanjeev, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity, and thanks the Remote Workforce Summit, Khalij Times. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.